Today we're going to be taking a look at Sonic's new Storz Luggage range, which as you can see from the stack to the left of me, they stack and they're nice and modular. So we're going to be talking about how that has been achieved and many more things in 5 key points you need to know about this luggage range. But before we jump into that, please just take a few seconds out of your time to subscribe to us, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and also follow us on all the different social media platforms coming up on the bottom of your screen right now for regular, if not daily, updates. So let's get stuck in. So how have Sonik gone about getting them as rigid as they are so that I can stack them on top of each other, having nothing inside them, but it still keeps themselves nice and secure and in a nice modular setup like this? Well, a lot of other things on the market that follow a similar principle of being rigid and being able to stand upright. They use like a thin wood or maybe a thick cardboard on the edges of the bags, and that's what gives it rigidity. And yes, that does work. That's absolutely fine. There's no problem with that. But what you will find is that they can sometimes deteriorate over time. If it gets a bit dinged in the car or the van or gets squashed a little bit, they can kink, bend, and then it's not going to be as rigid as you like. And just cardboard is going to deteriorate down the line, as will wood. So what Sonik have done, they've actually opted for a steel frame on the inside of all of these in different amounts. Of course, the smaller ones has less metal in them, but some of the larger ones have more supports all going around them. So the frame themselves, at the very top, you've got a steel frame going around the very top, so that gives it that square shape, so it doesn't collapse down sideways or upright or to that side. So that's how it keeps its rigidity at the very top. If I open up this one, just as an example, they all follow the same principle, other than some have more supports than others. Have a look on the inside, and just proof again that there's no rigidity to the sides. It's not like there's any cardboard in there, so it's nice and flexible there. All of the strength comes from a steel frame around the top, a solid base, and then you've got some steel legs which are put into place when you fold them out. So if I just dislodge that, they click into place at the bottom, nice and snug. Pull them out, and you'll see that this can then completely collapse down and fold flat. So when these aren't in use, you don't have to have them in their fully erected state. So if you want to store them away somewhere in the shed, in the garage, or somewhere in the house when they're not in use, don't worry, it's not going to take up loads of room because they're staying in that state. You can collapse them down nice and small like this, so they're really easy to store in multiples of them. So when these were delivered, all of this kit came in just one box, and I was thinking, hold on, I thought they sent me a whole luggage range. It's because they all came collapsed down like this. And just to show you how quick it is to set them back up, just extend that out, put those legs into position, and the base that is on this has got little ribs which holds the legs in position. There we are, as quick as that. It's now back into its fully set up state, and all of those with nothing in is rigid enough to hold themselves upright like so. That's all well and good having a nice rigid steel frame, but if the materials wrapped around that frame aren't any good, it's going to degrade over time and leave you with just a metal skeleton, and that's no good for anyone. So they've made sure that the materials are hard wearing. Starting off with the base, we've got a hard wearing EVA base, so it's great to chuck on muddy banks like at the moment. It's freezing today, may I add. It's about -1 when I got here, -2. Luckily this lake isn't frozen, but that's beyond the point. So it does mean that chucking it on the ground on muddy banks like I'm on today doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's any kind of water as well. It should protect things that are in the base of that. And it also helps with the rigidity, because as you can see at the moment, I've got these stacks. So the base of this one is kind of forming the stiffness across the top of the bag below. So I'll move on to how they actually stack in a second with the modular system and the sizes and things, but that's the very base. Moving up, we've just got some nice easy to grab zips, so big toggles on them, so they're easy to use, and the zips are large, so they're not small that's going to get clogged up with mud and grime over the time, so they're nice and easy to use. They'll whip open up and down nice and easily. On the sides, we've got big mesh pockets, easy to slot anything you like in there, whether it just be keys, phone, receiver, whatnot. Completely up to you. That's just easy access, quick to grab, and that's all accessible on all these bags, other than the ones in the middle there, of course. I can access all of those mesh pockets. At the very top, we've got these 2 heavy-duty grab handles, so moving around on the bank in place like this is nice and easy. But you've also got, where I've put it, up here, adjustable shoulder straps which come with them as well. You can click them on as you'd expect with most bags. There's an easy clip here, buckle, clip them on. I don't tend to use these. I think they're starting to get in the way, especially when you're on the bank with these handles. They're so easy to move around straight from your barrow into your swim, then I don't tend to use these. But if you like to use these shoulder straps, they do come with them as well, so that's not a problem. You'll also notice these little poppers. Now this is to do with the modular system. They actually click into place. And the last item to mention that's in the range are these tabletop toppers. So there's two different sizes, one of which is here, the larger one, because you've got different widths of these bags, and this is the smaller one, and that sits on top of this one, perfect. And these little poppers click into place there and there, and I've now got a nice work surface. And because it's so rigid, you've got yourself a bivvy table, which isn't just a bivvy table, it's still a luggage storage item. That can then go on the top of however many I've stacked. So at the moment, I can stack it all the way up like that. But if you've got not much space in your bivvy, and you've only got a couple of these bags, for example, take these down, and you've got two bags that you're going on a long trip, I can still access that one in the modular system, but I've now put the tabletop on the top of this one, so I've got a nice work surface at a good height as well. So it's really handy. You can get those tabletops slot into place, and it just gives it a bit more rigidity, easy to work with things. We'll chuck that back on there, and that is the materials in a nutshell. Now, I know I've mentioned the fact that these are modular and stackable the whole way through, and it's pretty damn clear by the fact that I've got them stacked to the left of me, but that is a point in itself, is that they are very modular. They can stack together as easy as this, but they've still thought about that, because if you're going to stack these bags and you thought, oh, I need something from the bottom bag, they haven't forgotten about that. They thought, well, you're not going to want to take bags off each time to access that. So the bottom one, for example, I can now access by undoing this strap, or this pocket, sorry. I can access things from the front. Now, you may notice there's actually a metal frame still in there. That's what's giving its rigidity. That's fully removable, just like I have with this one. So for example, if I unzip this one, you can now see it's completely open fronted, because this would originally slot in there, giving it its rigidity, but you don't need these all the time. So if you still want to access it through like this, you can do. You don't need it in the whole time. So it doesn't matter if they're on the bottom, middle, or top, you can access them from the front, or, as you've already seen, take that popper off, take that tabletop off, you've still got the pocket on the very front as well. So it doesn't matter how you've got this set up, there's never anything in your luggage that you're not going to be able to reach at a moment's notice. Now, there's several different sizes available in range, 2 different heights and 3 different lengths. Now, the heights available are 22 centimeters or 32 centimeters. The difference being this one at the very bottom is a 22 centimeter in height, and the one above, although the same width, is the different height. That's 10 centimeters taller at 32. But the different lengths you can go for are these lengths, which are the biggest ones in the range, which are 60 centimeters. Slightly smaller, it's 40, and the smallest of the lot is 20. So there's lots of different options in the range to cater for your needs, whether you want a small amount to take with you, or you're going on a much longer trip and you want to stack it all up like so. There's something in the range for everyone. And of course, remembering there's 2 different size tabletops that go with either this size one or the bigger size one for the larger tabletops. Now, the prices start from as low as $25.99 RRP, and that will be for the low, small one, all the way up to $44.99 for the largest, widest one in the range. And don't forget the 2 different tabletop options as well. The smaller one of the 2 comes in at $13.99 RRP, and the larger one of the 2, $16.99 RRP. So that's everything that you need to know about the Sonik Storz Luggage. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful and gave you all the information you needed to know about this. And don't forget to subscribe to us if you haven't done so already, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future uploads on things like this and much, much more. That's everything from me for now. I'm about to head on and warm up my hands because I cannot feel them anymore. Can you actually see that on camera? Why do we always say you can't feel your hands anyway? Because I can feel them. They're really, really painfully cold and red. Oh.